Alright, so hello everyone. My name is Khairuman Aretam Abdulaziz. My student number is 25107320013. Right. So today we're gonna be talking about a topic. The topic is language learning. So I'm gonna explain to you guys what is language learning and what's the difference with language acquisition. So first of all, let's talk about language learning. So it's basically where you learn a language through a formal education like that. Maybe in a classroom with your teacher, or maybe with a tutor, language specialist, stuff like that. And then what's the difference between language learning and language acquisition? So like I said before, language learning, you learn that through education, formal. Meanwhile, language acquisition, you learn it through a natural way. So basically, you don't undergo special education. So you learn it through a natural way, like talking, using that language daily, and stuff like that. Alright, so the next one I want to talk about is second language acquisition. So what is this? It's basically the process of you learning another language. So here, sometimes the language that you're learning here is, well, it's kind of used most of the time. Well, not most of the time. Well, it's not that rarely that uncommon. Let's just say it's uncommon. For example, Indonesian student is learning English since, well, you guys know English is international language. So even though you're living in, for example, Indonesia, you will still sometime have to speak English. Alright. Or maybe another example is, maybe if you belong to a tribe, like Minangese, or Sundais, or Japanese. Of course, you gotta sometimes talk in their language, right? Since mostly people there use their own tribal language. Yeah, so that's that. Alright, and then we go on to foreigner language acquisition. So basically, this is where it's mostly the same as second language acquisition, but this time the language that you're learning here is, well, it's not mostly used. For example, a student is learning Japanese. Alright, so basically, if you're an Indonesian, most of the time you will speak either Indonesian, or maybe your tribe language, or maybe English, right? So you won't speak Japanese most of the time. So yeah. And then we have, I forgot the topic, but I do know the material. For example, language mixing, input, intake, output. I think that's that. Alright, so language mixing. So think of it as well, let's just take one example, Jackson language. So basically, you mix two language becoming one. Sometimes it doesn't make sense because, of course, mixing two language just won't fit. Just won't fit. Right. So the next one is input. So basically, what is input? Basically, is the language that you receive. Maybe you heard it, you read it. So basically, the language comes to you. You receive it, right? So next one is intake. So it's the language that you learn from what you heard or read. Let's just say what you receive. But the difference is intake. Well, you sometimes only take a couple, or let's just say you learn a couple of the language that you heard. Then the next one is output. Basically, this is the stuff where you write or spoke of the language. So yeah, I think that's all for me. Thank you guys.